It's time for Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears, with your hosts, Alex.
Gosh, I have so many questions. Also, where's my car?
Splash.
Strive to love something as much as my grandmother loves buying new crock pots.
And Mac.
If you've ever been to Boston, you know that they have amazing ice cream.
Coming to you from coast to coast, it's L-A-R.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Losses Above Replacement, the greatest baseball podcast to grace your ears. I'm today's host, Mathias Kurosaki, and with me, as always, we have our very own Cy Young contenders, Alex Clark and Ryan Splashpots. Gentlemen, first things first, as we begin every episode, how are we doing on this fine Wednesday afternoon?
I'm very glad that you actually gave us like a good title. Normally, I give you guys very questionable titles. I'm glad to be a Cy Young contender. All right, especially
for now, you know,
rotation. Yeah, no, yeah, 100%. I'm also waiting for the Leaning Tower of Splash Hats to go down swing, just like Joey Gallo. But honestly, we're doing okay here. I am so excited for tomorrow for the drop of MLB The Show 25. Here, I'm very ready to start the grind on that. Diamond Quest looks absolutely fantastic here, so I am very ready to play some baseball.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm back from being home. If you want to see the Leaning Tower of Splash Hats, check out the YouTube Losses Above Replacement or at LAR_baseball. I have like 10 hats on my head. It's hurting my neck, so I'm going to take them off now.
Yeah, I'll say right now, my neck hurts because I slept on it funny last night.
Same here.
That sucks.
Like earlier today when I was coaching, it hurt to lift my head a little bit. So yeah, that's how things are going over here. Other than that, though, I keep forgetting that MLB 25 is only on PS5, and I need to figure out a way to get one.
Wait, it's not on Xbox?
No, I mean it's on Xbox too.
Okay,
It's only on
Okay. You know, I was about to fight the universe.
I was about to say next gen consoles, and then I remembered we called it next gen like, I don't know, 10 years ago when the PS4 first came out, and that the PS5 came out in 2019, I think. 2019 or 2020?
It was 2020.
Maybe it was 2020.
I remember that I got my PS5. It was during the pandemic.
Okay, so maybe it was 2020. I remember though when people first started getting them. But yeah, I'll I guess get to work on that. I know that I do have a Nintendo Switch. Not like I was planning on playing MLB The Show on my Nintendo Switch, but
I love you, Nintendo. MLB The Show does not work very well.
Yeah, no, it just,
and that's not a knock on Nintendo. It's just not even close.
I will say, playing online, I have matched up with some Nintendo Switch players, and they're either really good or really terrible.
I've only seen the latter, like playing online.
Really?
And because like when you try to play with it, I don't know if anyone's ever tried to play the show on Switch, using the control sticks for it is like there's no precision with it.
Oh, okay,
like,
yeah.
You're either dead center or on the lines. You can't maneuver it at all. And then trying to do like pinpoint pitching is basically impossible.
Yeah, so I will say the game looks pretty sick. So I'm going to try to find a way to get my hands on it. And yeah, I know is it just for the pre-orders that it starts tomorrow night, or it comes out tomorrow night?
It's for pre-orders. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because I know some people who said it was the 18th. Some people said it was the 14th. I couldn't remember which one was right. Over here on the West Coast, it'll be coming out at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. Right.
So, and I already have it downloaded. I have it ready to go. I'm very excited as well. I get to add a new Mariner legend to my all-time Mariner squad with them as Gaylord Perry was announced.
That's right. Perry is a new addition. Yeah. Yes, that's sick, by the way.
Absolutely. I just want to know, are they going to put the spitball in the game somehow? Please. I need it. Thank you.
I'm also excited that Darren O'Day is in the game.
Oh yeah, Darren O'Day's
back. And also like Bobby Abreu. They're like so many awesome legends. Ted Williams is back.
I'm hearing that today during the next broadcast. They're going to announce even more legends.
I heard maybe Steve Carlton. Like
Steve
it's
Carlton's
gonna be...
one. I'm still holding out hope that Ichiro will just make a jump and be in the game. It won't happen.
I hope Beltran maybe.
Beltran would be great here. Yeah, Seager's already back in the game. He's the
Kyle Seager. Yeah.
He's the Mariners live series collection reward.
Yeah, I know that he was in the game this year.
Yeah, he's been in the game the last couple of years. His cards are always sick.
Yeah, no, they were really good this year. I remember. But anyways, we are doing a two-fer today. We are doing our last two position rankings with the Tokyo series beginning next week. We are doing both our starting pitchers and our relievers this week. So we're going to start with our starting pitchers, and I'm going to preface this with a question here. Because Garrett Cole has undergone Tommy John surgery now and will not be pitching this year. I just want a simple answer from you guys. How much does that shake up your guys' rankings?
Not at all. Honestly, no.
Splash? No. That's my answer, no.
Okay. For me, he was on the bubble for me. I thought about putting him at number 5 because I think later in the season we started seeing the Garrett Cole of old, and unfortunately,
Garrett Cole.
And for the Yankees, it's the Yankees are in trouble. I'm just going to say that. I'll get more into it when we do our standings predictions next week. But the Yankees with him and Heel out, it's a scary situation in the Bronx.
I'll say right now, like Juan Soto leaving the Yankees to go to the Mets is looking like a smarter decision by the day at this point.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
I have a pushback. I have some pushback there. The Mets are losing pitchers left and right, too. It's not like the Yankees are the only team that have lost their frontline starters.
Yes, they are.
They've also lost other position players, too.
It's the thing is, so the Mets lost Alvarez. They've lost... Well, Manaea's going to be back in April, supposedly.
Okay.
And they lost Montes. It's just... My concern with the Yankees is that, it seemed like it was going to be, all right, they signed Fried, and now they can look to trade Stroman. They traded Nestor Cortez. Like, all right, now they have an excess of pitching depth. Now, like they don't need Stroman and all that. Now Stroman's gonna be like their number 3 starter, it seems. Because they're losing Cole for the whole year, and Heel is out at least 3 months. So it's like
I believe Schmidt is dealing with injury, if memory serves.
Yeah, so Schmidt should be ready by the first week of the season, is what I understand.
Okay.
It's going to be an interesting year. Like I said, I'll get more into it when we do our standings predictions, but let's go ahead. I think pitchers are incredibly difficult to rank.
Yeah.
Starters and relievers. I'll say this straight up. Relievers, I think, are the toughest to rank, but so are starters because there are just so many great pitchers. So let's go
I love
ahead.
seeing that, though. Like, legitimately, go back a few years ago, we were struggling to put 5 in the elite tier, and yet now we have like 20 that all like have a case at the very least.
Yeah. So, Alex, why don't you get us started? Who's your number 5?
Oh, Lord, have mercy on all of our souls.
All right, Splash, we're going to have to cancel you for the podcast. Thank you so much, and good luck on your future endeavors. No, I will say I did need to put one Mariner on my list. I only have one, just one, and that one is going to be Logan Gilbert. It was honestly close between Gilbert, Wu, and Kirby. I went with Gilbert just because he has seemed to be the most consistent over the last few years. Here, thank you, Splash. I appreciate it. Yeah, all of the Seattle Mariners is my answer. Yeah, just give me the starting 5 for the M's. No, but Gilbert has shown progression every single year, and he has been arguably one of the most consistent pitchers, not just on the Mariner roster, but in all of Major League Baseball over the last few years here. And it's still funny to think about that he came up on the same day as Jared Kelenic, and he got like no fanfare. Kelenic got all the fanfare, and now Logan Gilbert's one of the best pitchers in the game. Watching him play, if he could just keep consistent the way that he's been doing, this guy is a dark horse Cy Young candidate. I don't think that's even hearsay to say. At this point, Logan, watching him play, watching him even going at the end of last season, he was on a tear. Watching how he was able to dominate the zone overall, and now that this is what his 4th season, I believe, in Major League Baseball. This will be his 4th full season. Here, he is absolutely. I think he's going to have a dominant year. So
Yeah,
yes, you can see the looks like the FanDuel. Is this the FanDuel odds?
This is all of them. So
across the board.
yeah.
All right.
DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the odds. If you're listening on podcast, we have the odds pulled up. The AL Cy Young favorite, Tarek Skubal. Logan Gilbert is fourth, depending on the book that you use. So DraftKings, he's tied for fourth with DeGrom. FanDuel, he's fourth. BetMGM, he's fourth. Bet Rivers, he is sixth, behind Valdez. And Max Fried all the way up to third on Bet Rivers, which I don't exactly buy, but sure thing, pal.
So I'll say this right here. I look at my list now and I realize I only have one American League pitcher in my top 5. And that is not a knock on the AL. There are plenty of good pitchers. And I'll say this right now. I think the Mariners have the best rotation in baseball. I don't have anyone from them in my top 5, and I think it's
tragic.
They have 5 elite arms in the rotation. They're all, in my opinion, in like the 10 to 20 range. But that's the thing, though, is that if you have 5 like top 10, top 20 pitchers in your rotation, that means you have an elite rotation.
The fact that your number 5 starter can be an ace on other teams,
yeah, exactly.
That's a testament. Right there.
Yeah,
and to be fair, at this point as well, I want to say one last thing here. Kirby being out for the beginning of the season with the shoulder inflammation means that Emerson Hancock will be the number 5, and even then, Hancock could be a number 3 on other. I was
going to say, I think Hancock can be all right.
Yeah, Hancock's okay. Like I don't get the hate towards him. Like, yes, he's not George Kirby, but no one is George Kirby except for George Kirby.
Yeah, so I think Kirby could have a case too. I forget, he's not going to be out that long, is he?
Yeah, no, they're expecting that he's going to be out probably maybe like halfway of the first month.
Okay, yeah,
maybe to the first month. It's the X-rays came back negative on him, just shoulder inflammation. So they're trying to figure out what's the cause of it and then get it back out there. But also, you guys know just as well as I do that Kirby is a fighter, and Kirby wants to be on the mound more. He wants to breathe.
Will. That's the thing, is that he tried to pitch through that injury, and the team had to tell him to stop. Like,
which I respect the hustle.
I respect the hustle too. It's just I understand why they shut him down.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, I agree with it.
So my number 5, it's kind of a risk. I'm taking Blake Snell at number 5. Blake Snell was a Cy Young winner in 2023. And for the first couple months of 2024, it looked like, man, is this guy like, why bother opting out? Just opt in and take the money because nobody's going to give it to you. And then he came back from the injured list in July and had a 1.23 ERA from July 9th to the end of the season. That is top 5 pitcher stuff. Snell, I think, has some of the best stuff, pure stuff in the game. And we finally saw him start pitching deeper into games, sort of cutting back on the walks, and the strikeouts went through the roof. And I'll put another stat out there. He held his opponents to a 382 OPS during that stretch. And this isn't just like, he made like 2 good starts. It was a 14 start stretch. So Blake Snell, I think, became a more complete pitcher last year. Sure, his numbers overall weren't as pretty as they were in his Cy Young years, either of them. But I think this is a top 5 pitcher. I can't believe the baseball world let the Dodgers get him. It's just another arm on their team. And I do want to quickly say Corbin Burns was right on the bubble for me, and so was Logan Gilbert. And I will say also the biggest wild card on here is Jacob deGrom. I do not have Jacob deGrom on my list, but I was saying this in our little pre-show talk, but if he even pitches 150 or maybe 160 innings and is like 70% of what he was before the injuries start catching up with him, he will be a top 5 pitcher. He could even win the Cy Young. But Splash, who do you have at number 5?
All right. Could I be the low man on Chris Sale? Is that like possible here?
No, because I'm lower than you.
Oh.
Whoa.
Wow. Whoa. Wow. Okay. So Chris Sale, I guess I wasn't going to plan on talking about Sale because I assumed both of you had him, but if Alex doesn't have him on his list at all, well, Chris Sale,
I'm going to tell you right now, I said this before during our pre-show planning, and we have the chat logs to prove it. I said my lists are going to piss off people, and I'm
okay. Well, sure thing, buddy. Chris Sale, just casually, National League Cy Young, led the league in wins, led the league in ERA, led the league in strikeouts. Just a vintage Sales season. Finally captured that Cy Young. Surprisingly, his first wins title, his first ERA title, his third strikeout title, through 177 innings, his most since 2017. 174 ERA plus. That was his best since 2018. Didn't pitch a full season that year. 209 FIP. That's elite. Allowed a homer every 18 innings. Led the league, led the majors, in fact, in strikeouts per 9. Even won the Gold Glove. So the era of Braves pitchers that can field the position continues. My concern is his last start came on September 19th. The Braves were in a do or die situation basically the last 2 weeks of the season, and they're just saving Sale and saving Sale and saving Sale. And he doesn't go in game 161 against the Mets. Okay. He doesn't go in game 162 against the Mets. Season on the line, doesn't go. Wild card round, doesn't go. Wild card round game 2, doesn't go. So that kind of, I guess, soured me a little bit on what was a magnificent season. Felt like every outing besides one, he had one bad outing against Oakland. I was live on stream for. His other 28 were phenomenal. Just bulldog mentality. Arguably the best pitch in baseball with his slider, throwing 95 plus from the left side. Just felt like no one really had a shot most of the season. He doesn't walk guys. He had an OPS allowed of 588 last year. That means hitters were hitting about a 63 OPS clip against Sale for the entire season. A 269 on base. That's ridiculous. So Sale's my number 5. And Mac, you're not actually the high man on Blake Snell. I have him number 4.
Wow. Was not expecting that, but okay.
When Snell came back from injury, as you mentioned, he was just plain unhittable. He threw a no-hitter against the Reds. Shout out to those who said he can't throw complete games. He can. He did. I mentioned Chris Sale allowed a 588 OPS last year. Blake Snell's entire season, 526. That includes some not so great starts in there. That is not just limited to that 1-2-3 ERA stretch that you pointed out, Mac. That's the entire season. Blake Snell, 1 in every 6 hitters got a hit against him. A 174 batting average against. The on base, 263. Yeah, Blake Snell walks some guys. I get it. He walked more batters than Chris Sale did. I get it. In fewer innings, 3.8 walks per 9, which is not as bad as it had been previously in Blake Snell's career. He cut over a walk per 9 off from his Cy Young season, and it was, on par with what he did as a Ray, 3.8 walks per 9, but just doesn't allow hits, doesn't allow hard contact. When he allows contact, it's singles. Last year, he had allowed an ISO below 100. Like, we are talking about like Luis Arraez levels of slug against him and Joey Gallo batting average. So Joey Gallo batting average and Luis Arraez isolated power. I'm going to take that. I think Blake Snell's the best pitcher on the Dodgers. And this is we talked about the Mariners, that they might have 5 top 20 pitchers. The Dodgers might have 5 top 15 pitchers. They're that good. And I think Snell's the best of the bunch.
Yeah, so I guess I'm the high man on Chris Sale in that case. Look, I'll say this. I feel like I've been waiting for Sale to have the season he did last year for a while. Like, I've been waiting so long for Chris Sale to win a Cy Young. It felt like for years I kept picking Sale to win the Cy Young, and I kept getting burned. And now he put it together last year. And I will say, Splash, I do have the same concerns you do about his health. I had a feeling last year when they kept pushing him back that something was wrong. And now, of course, they say after they get eliminated, he would have pitched game 3. It's like, all right, well, why didn't he pitch game 2 then? Why didn't he pitch game 1 then? So yeah, that was a weird ending to the season, but I think overall it was a fantastic season. He won the Cy Young for a reason. It was not really that much of a race, I think. 2.38 ERA, 2.09 FIP. He had the highest Fangraphs WAR of any pitcher last year. So Chris Sale, just all around a great season. And I think he showed when he was at the White Sox, and for the first 2 years he was in Boston, he definitely showed he was a top 5 pitcher in baseball. And I think last year he got back to that. And I'm curious to see That was his age 35 season last year. He's turning 36 at the end of the month. I'm curious to see what he can do to follow it up.
Yeah. I'll go next. Then my number 4, I also have Blake Snell. I think that Snell is a fantastic pitcher. Like, does he fit the mold of what I usually like as a pitcher? No, he does not. I like pitchers that can go deep into ball games. I like pitchers that can save my bullpen here and can be pretty efficient about it. Snell is none of those things. What he is, though, is incredibly good with good stuff here, and he gets people out. Is he going to go into the 9th inning all the time? No. Is he going to go to the 8th inning all the time? No. Is he going to go to the 7th inning all the time? No. Can he get to the 6th or 5th inning pretty reliably? Yeah. And that's fine. Like, the thing is, like, while you watch him play all this, he passes the eye test. Like 100%. Like, watching how he works, he treats every at-bat like it is a one-on-one battle. And he wins that battle every time. Doesn't mean that he's going to go deep into the game. No. But it does mean that when he is out there, he is reliably going to do everything he needs to for the 5 to 6 innings that he's there with very minimal mistakes here. And now that he's part of a Dodgers rotation that, like Splash said, has 5 starters that all could be in the top 15 to top 20, like, that's going to be even more insane because now you can't plan around him either. You have to plan for everybody against that rotation. And I've famously been not as high on Snell because of the longevity and because of that, but I'm starting to really come around on him, especially as we're seeing now the new era of pitching where it's not always about going deep into games. It's about getting people out, letting the relievers then do their job here. And Blake Snell does that perfectly to a team. So he's number 4 on my list.
Yeah, so I'm going to roll right into my number 3. And I think by the end of this year, we could be talking about this guy as the number 1. I have Paul Skeens. And it is crazy that a rookie is already, or a guy who was a rookie last year is already the 3rd best pitcher in baseball in my eyes. And in some people's eyes, he might be number 1. That's the really wild thing about this. But I can't say enough good things about this guy. He made 23 starts and somehow put up 5.9 Baseball Reference WAR, and I think it was 4.3 on 4.3 on Fangraphs. All around, just a phenomenal season. 15 of his 23 starts were quality starts. He averaged about 99 miles per hour on his fastball, 1.96 ERA, 2.53 expected ERA. So that means he's still going to be very good, I think. Maybe he doesn't have a sub-2 ERA this year, but I think 2.5 is realistic. I think he should be the favorite to win the Cy Young this year in the National League. He did everything right this year. You know, he pitched deep into games, which with young pitchers, that's always the biggest question. How deep can they go? And this year, I mean, he pitched at least 5 innings in every start except his first, which kind of got interrupted by a rain delay, and his last, which they were only planning on pitching him a couple innings. Every other start, he pitched at least 5 innings. He pitched at least 6 in a lot of those. So, I mean, he was a workhorse, and he threw hard too. He struck out about one out of every 3 batters he faced, 33%. So Paul Skeens is my number 3. And honestly, if you guys have him higher, I wouldn't blame you. I know some people are already putting him at number 1. I need to see him do it once more. And for a bigger sample size in terms of innings before I can put him number 1, but I understand if you have him higher.
Yeah. I'll go next with my number 3. This is probably going to be my wild card on this. I'm not sure. We'll see. Number 3, I have Garrett Crochet.
Whoa.
So here's the thing when it comes to Crochet, right? Like, watch what he did last year, right? Before being shut down because of White Sox, because of his own stuff here, he was the bright spot on that team. And to be fair, not really hard to be a bright spot on that team. They didn't have very many spots to begin with. But at the same time, watching how he pitched, I think people forget how dominant he was because he was on the White Sox here. moving him now to the AL East is going to be a huge test for a Crochet. He's going to need to pitch the entire year. He's going to need to play at that level the entire way through, but he's going to be leading a Boston Red Sox rotation here, and he's going to look like Chris Sale. He's going to have to be that to live up to his expectations. And looking at the stuff that he has, I think he has it. Like, watching what he does, I'm not going to say he is absolutely the number one pitcher in baseball, but I think Garrett Crochet has the highest ceiling right now of any pitcher not named Paul Skeens right now in baseball. I think Paul Skeens, again, I'm going to talk about him a little bit later. Spoiler alert. But I think that when it comes to what Crochet can do, he is the biggest wild card. It could either be, he's either going to be a runaway for the Cy Young, or we're going to be wondering if he's going to be like a top 5. We're going to be wondering if he's even a top 20 starter by the end of the year. There's basically no in between, I think. But when it comes to him, if he pitches like he did with Chicago, I think we're looking at someone who could really dominate.
I'll say Crochet is not on my list, but I really like the call, Alex.
Same.
If you're into the K minus BB percentage, just a casual 29.6 from Crochet, 35% strikeout rate, a walk rate of 5.5%. So think Chris Sale, how good Chris Sale was.
Yeah.
Crochet struck out more batters and allowed fewer walks.
Exactly.
So
again, like I said, the ceiling is very high. The problem is the floor is very low too. Like, you have to really, he has the tools. He has everything to make it work. It's about whether or not he can do it for Boston.
Coming in at number 3 for me, I have American League Cy Young Award winner, Triple Crown Award winner, my American League Cy Young pick from 2022, Tarik Skubal. Just an excellent season, led the Tigers to the playoffs. You know, that bulldog mentality, screaming on the mound. I love to see it. 6.3 baseball reference WAR, led the majors with 228 strikeouts, 4.6% walk rate, up there, just comically low, 170 ERA plus, was a tick below Sale in the ERA department from winning the Major League Triple Crown, 18 wins, 239 ERA, 228 strikeouts. One of the best pitching seasons you'll see. And he had to do it for a Tigers team that like abandoned the real starting pitcher besides Skubal, and just felt like every start he was going out and delivering 7 good innings. And I really value that. He has a deep mix from the left side, can get lefties out, can get righties out. Last year allowed a 201 batting average against, comically low, 247 on base percentage. That's the lowest of any of the guys I considered. A 311 slug. Only a certain righty from Pittsburgh was better than that. 58 OPS plus against. That is just absurd. And I think Skubal can do it again. He continued his dominance from the end of the 2023 season, much like Cole Reagans of the Royals, who not on my list, but another top 10-ish guy. And I think Skubal can do a lot of the same things again. You know, the ERA might not quite be as low. Sometimes the home run rate, wobbles a little bit. If he's 0.9 home runs allowed per 9, then his ERA is closer to, 2.7 as opposed to under 2.4. But Skubal's unreal. I would imagine you guys have him in your top 2, but he's my number 3.
I'll go into my number 2 then at that point. And yeah, that's where I have Skubal. And yep, that'll spoil who my number 1 is. We'll get to that in a bit. But everything you said about Skubal, I mean, I'm only going to bring up. Thank you. Yes, that's my number 1. Good job, Splash. If you want to know the joke the Splash just made, please like it and subscribe on YouTube. But at LAR Baseball. But lots of replacement. But for Skubal, I'm only going to bring up one extra thing here. When you single-handedly motivate your team to beat the Astros in the playoffs, you are a career-defining pitcher. You are that good. No, Tarik Skubal, I mean, I got to give my props to Splash here. Like, when you made that call out in 2022 that he was going to be this good, I was like, okay, sure, I'll see it when I see it. I see it now. We see it now. And I think the world sees it now. No, Tariq Skubal is absolutely a dominating pitcher. And man, I want to see him on a different team because right now I don't see Detroit really competing more. And you're now seeing a generational pitcher towing the rubber every 5 days.
Yeah, the thing. So I have Skubal at number 2 also, and my concern with him after that 2021 season, because I think he did show progress that year, but he gave up 35 homers in 149 innings. In the 3 years since that, he's given up 28 total, including he only gave up 4 in 80 innings in 2023. And you saw what he could do in September of 2023 when he had a 0.9 ERA that month. And last year, he put it all together. I mean, he's the American League Triple Crown winner. Really just a fantastic season. I do need to see him do it one more time. Kind of like Skeens. These guys could easily be 1 and 2 next year. So Skubal just all around. I don't have a ton to say that Alex hasn't already said. But if he does, if he goes out there and has another Cy Young caliber season, then I think he's number 1. But right now, I have him at number 2.
I'm so curious who your number 1 is, because
I'm confused here because I don't understand how my number 1 I don't think is on your list. But yeah, Skubal, just an all around great pitcher. What can I say?
All right.
Yeah, you asked us pre-show about Jacob deGrom, and we're like, oh, well, neither of us have deGrom, but you're leaving this guy off?
Yeah, I'm really lost right now.
Already.
Who am I leaving off? Tell me now.
Well, I can fill in my number 2 if you wish.
Yeah, go ahead.
My number 2 is one former Metropolitan, Zach Wheeler. He's just really good, man. If you needed a guy, the laser beams are pointed at the earth, and the Martians are coming down, the death beam, and you have to have one pitcher to throw 7 scoreless innings, strike out 8. Zach Wheeler's my guy to do that. Last year, he did that a lot. He had 13 quality starts of at least 7 innings, struck out 11 in one of those against the Giants, had a sub 2.5 ERA for a decent chunk of the season, had an ERA below 3 the entire season. The highest his ERA ever got was 3 itself. Just a dog. Heading into last year, at least, he had the all-time playoff record for WHIP. He has a 2.18 career playoff ERA. He has a 0.725 WHIP in the playoffs. All 3 seasons with the Phillies, he's at a 0.7 WHIP. There's no bad playoff outings for him. Although, ironically enough, he can't beat the Braves. He I don't know. It's weird. The Phillies win the series, but he can't individually beat them. Strange. 6 reference WAR, 2.57 ERA. That's a career best. Through 200 innings for the second time in his career. 224 strikeouts. Led the National League in WHIP. Led the National League in hits per 9. Allowed under a home run per 9. Struck out 10 per 9 for just the second time in his career. Second place in the Cy Young. 12th in MVP. Just an absolute maniac on the mound. The only thing separating number 1 from number 2 is the pure filth of the stuff. Wheeler has plus stuff. The guy on my number 1 has 80 grade stuff, basically across the board. Wheeler pitches deep into games. My number 1 pitches deep into games. Everything I can say about my number 2, I can say about my number 1. Number 2 has the extra playoff acumen. He's also going to turn 35 in May. So, I'll take my chances with the best pitcher in baseball. Number 1, it's Paul Skeens. I don't care what the reference WAR says or Fangraphs WAR says. I know he only threw 130 innings. I saw them with my own eyes. Paul Skeens is unhittable. There are times Zach Wheeler will maybe pitch around guys, pitch to contact, pitch to get deeper into games. Paul Skeens says, hello, my name is Paul Skeens. I am better than you. You're going to head to the bench in 3 pitches. And he does it a lot. He struck out 11.5 batters per 9. That is ridiculous. A third of his batters phased. Bye-bye. See you later. Won Rookie of the Year over Jackson Merrill, Jackson Churio, an incredible rookie class. 19th in MVP voting, and he wasn't called up until May. Just like bananas stuff. Struck out 170 batters in 133 innings. Like basically did the Spencer Strider thing with a lower walk rate. 2.2 walks per 9. Like I could go a little lower. 6.2% walk rate. That's better than league average. As I said, the 33% K rate. That's a 27 or 26.9 K minus BB percentage. That's the best pitcher in baseball to me. A 5.55 or 5.52 OPS allowed, batting average under 200, on base allowed about 250. And he didn't have crazy BABIP luck one way or the other. Gets a lot of ground balls, which strikeout guys, they tend to allow a lot of fly balls. But when you're striking everybody out, and when they do happen to put the ball in play, it's 51% on the ground, you're just not going to allow much production. And that's how good Paul Skeens is. An 0.97 ISO last year. He's the best pitcher in baseball. He probably has the best pitch in baseball. He throws 102. He's the best, period.
Yeah.
All right. So one thing I do want to kind of bring Lisa note of here.
Yeah.
Because yes, I do not have Wheeler on my list. Do I think Wheeler's an amazing pitcher? Absolutely. He was on my preliminary list. I then moved him off. And let me explain why, though, right? Like, it's not even so much that I have anything negative on Wheeler. I was looking at, like, my list here. I wanted one Mariner because it's on brand. I also do think that Logan Gilbert's amazing. But Blake Snell, we've seen what he does time and time again, and I've been down on him before. I can't be down on him anymore. I think Garrett Crochet has a higher ceiling this year than Wheeler does, but that's only because I think that I want to see what he can do when he goes. And Tariq Skubal is Tariq Skubal, and my number one is my number one. But I think this is more of a testament, anything, to how many dominating starting pitchers we have in the game today, and I love to see that, right? Like, I legitimately think that there are 10 names that could be 10 to 15 names that could be on our top 5 list. That I think when we were going through, we probably moved a lot of different names on and off of our list. I'll go into my number one here because obviously my number one is R.A. Dickey, but it's Paul Skeens. So I have on this show multiple times talked about how I'm not the biggest fan of rookies because I want to see what they can do. Paul Skeens broke that mold on me. Watching this man pitch is like watching Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge hit. It is not fair. It is insane to see what they can do when they have a baseball in their hand and a glove on their left hand. Watching every single one of his pitches, every one of them is an out pitch. We talk about a lot of other starting pitchers, relief pitchers, have one pitch that is their out pitch. Like, they're like, oh yeah, this is how I'm going to get people out with this, set it up for this. Paul Skeens has 5. Every single one of his pitches might
have more than 5 now.
It might actually, it might be at 7, I think. I was here to just work on 2 new pitches this offseason. Like, when you look at this guy, when you brought up that he has it's not just plus stuff, it is plus stuff that Paul Skeens has. My only concern with him, and legit, this is my only concern, is that now we're getting into the second year of Skeens. And second year, a lot of times, is when players, we start to see what they're really valuing as, what they're really valued as, what is their worth. And I think that watching Paul Skeens, like in spring training and what he did last year, I don't think we're going to see any decline. I think that this is a guy that is going to be the best for a pretty long time here, barring any sort of injury, knock on wood. But I mean, like you see it on YouTube here right now, we see all the whiffs that he generates. Those are with different pitches. That's not just the fastball. That's not just the change or the curve or the slider. All the pitches are on display here, and he can get outs with every single one of them. Like, I don't know what more you want. When you have a 102 with a lot of life to it on top of it, with a lot of movement to a fastball, what more do you want?
It's crazy watching him add more pitches, supposedly, because I've seen some of them during spring training this year, and they're pretty filthy. I'll say that much. So the one thing that I guess this is almost like a seniority thing, because I have Zach Wheeler at number 1. It's more so that he's been doing it consistently now for the last 4 years. He's been a top 5 at worst starting pitcher. And he threw 200 innings last year. He was the runner-up in Cy Young voting. I think, like I said earlier, I think Skeens by the end of the year is going to be number 1 for me, and Skubal will be number number 2, maybe. And I understand Wheeler is, turning 35 this year, but he was just phenomenal again last year. 2.57 ERA is the best in his career. 200 innings, 224 strikeouts, best whip in the National League, best hits per 9 in the National League. He held batters to a 192 batting average and a 581 OPS. That was also the lowest of his career. So in some ways, he had the best year of his career. I understand that volume-wise, he threw 213 innings and had a higher WAR in 2021. But I really, really enjoy watching Zach Wheeler pitch, even though he's on the Phillies. If I could go back in time and scream at Brody Van Wagenen to re-sign him, just give him what he wants instead of letting him walk, I would do that. Man, it's like the one move I really, really, really wish the Mets had back. And there were a lot of them, but that's like number 1 for me is letting him walk to the Phillies. But yeah, Zach Wheeler's my number 1. And I say we go ahead and move to relievers. I think relievers, like I said earlier, they're the toughest position to rank because of just how volatile they can be. I'll tell you this right now. I mean, there are pitchers I had last year, clear-cut number 1, clear-cut top 5 pitchers who I don't have on my list this year. So I say we go ahead and get into our top 5 relievers. Let's go to Splash this time. Splash, kick us off. Who's your 5th best reliever?
Yeah, like you said, the relievers are fickle. Number 1 year is off the list the next year. I remember 2 years ago when we did the list, I had Emmanuel Clase 1. I made the world famous taser analogy with Edwin Diaz, why he wasn't my number 1, because he has to use the taser sometimes when he's walking home. Emmanuel Clase doesn't have to use the taser. Emmanuel Clase returned to being like the beast that he was. Edwin Diaz at times looked like regular Edwin Diaz.
At times really didn't.
Yeah, if you can't tell, I am stalling for time because I have to copy over the graphic real quick. But yeah, that's okay. My number 5, as I get the graphic pulled up, our nice, beautiful, unique graphic. Surely you haven't seen that before.
Definitely.
My number 5, the beardless wonder, now Devin Williams. He might have the best pitch in baseball. I mentioned that with Paul Skeens. The airbender is like really a screwball. I would classify it as a changeup, probably a screwball. More like an FU pitch. I don't know how to square it. He's awesome, man. I know he didn't pitch a full season last year, and that's probably why I have him at 5 as opposed to 1 or 2 or 3, because I've been high on Williams for years now. But 2-time All-Star, 2-time reliever of the year, has had a ERA beginning with a 1 in 3 straight seasons, a 1.25 this year. Again, only threw 21 2/3 innings. Only made 22 appearances. I get it, but he's a guy that received MVP votes in 2023. Like, I'll take my chances. Career ERA plus of 2.32. That's better than Mariano Rivera for his career. His FIP has started with a 2 in 4 straight years. The year before that, it was 0.86. This man does bananas things on a baseball diamond. Yeah, he walks a few more guys than I would like. Career 11.8% walk rate, walked 1/8 of the batters he faced last year. But when you're mowing them down at a 40% clip, 39% for his career, there's a give and take. And Devin Williams is taking a lot more than he is giving. So Devin Williams is my number 5.
So at number 5, I have his former division rival, actually. I have Ryan Helsley. Helsley had a great year. He finally stayed healthy for a full season. That was a big thing. That's why I believe I didn't have him last year or in 2023 because he only pitched in 33 games. But this year, career high 65 games, led the majors with 49 saves. Another just all-around great year, 2.04 ERA, 2.41 FIP, 2.72 expected ERA. So, I mean, maybe he's not like a 2.0 ERA guy this year, but he throws the ball really hard. He averages just under 100 miles per hour on his fastball. He has a wicked slider. And he's a guy who you can give him the ball in the 9th inning about, anywhere from 40 to 60 times, I feel like, and he will get the job done most of the time. And I think, saves aren't necessarily a super valued statistic, but I think he's an old school closer in some ways, and with the high strikeouts, and he doesn't walk a ton of batters too. And his walk rate went down significantly last year, so that was a big step forward for him. So I've Helsley at number 5, and I think it's reasonable to expect him, especially in a contract year, to have another big season this year.
I'm going to agree with you here, Mac. I have Helsley at number 5 as well. I think when you take a look at what he can do on the ball field, there are so many closers that can just throw hard, right? He takes it to an art form almost. Watching how he has that pinpoint control with at 102, like, is he the best closer in baseball? No, but he's definitely one of the ones that you can fear. That when you hear like hell's bells, like you're ready to go. So for me, Helsley, I mean, everything you said about him, yeah, I'm with you on that. He's number 5. I'll move on to my number 4 then, if that's all right here. So my number 4, I had him at number 1, I think, or the top through in last year. I have Emmanuel Clase. Like, Clase is legitimately one of the best arms in the game. And so having him at number 4, yeah, that's a weird one for me even. When you have that cutter that can come in at 99, you have a fastball that's over 100. I mean, come on. It's unfair. It is just straight up unfair. The fact that he's number 4 on my list, there's some damn good closers out right now. But when it comes to Clase, I mean, like, we've talked about him for years. He has been in the top here for years on this. And it's for obvious reason. He is a consistently great closer. People I know are going to try to knock on Clase that, in the playoffs, he couldn't get it done. He was used day in and day out here, which is not normal for a closer here. And he was getting tired. That happens here. There's a reason why closers usually at the very most go only 2 days in a row. After that, they start to get a bit cooked here. You don't want to overdo your closers. So I'm not holding that against him. Clase is one of the best arms in this game.
Oh, okay. That was a little unexpected, to be honest with you. But I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay in the same division. Yohan Duran. One of these years, he's going to like strike out 500 guys and have a 0 ERA. I don't know which year it's going to be. Also, shout out to his teammate Griffin Jacks. He's also great. But I don't understand how it's physically possible to hit Yohan Duran. He throws 101, if not 102. Last year, he had an expected ERA 2.76, expected batting average of 2.08, strikes out 29% of the guys he faces. A lot of closers, like I mentioned with Devin Williams, walks the world, but it doesn't matter. He strikes everyone out. Yohan Duran does good things. He strikes people out. He doesn't walk people, and he has a high ground ball rate. So if you manage to hit Yohan Duran, there's a 62% chance the ball is going to be on the ground. And Minnesota generally can field the baseball. And yeah, I don't get how people can hit Duran. Did he have the best season last year? No, there are guys that had better seasons. But I think from a stuff perspective, like if I'm drafting stuff outside of the Devin Williams Airbender, I might just draft Duran's stuff. If you have a blind ranking of the stuff, he might be number 1. He's, top of the chart velocity, and it leads to good results or good process. The results, he had a 3.64 ERA last year. I'm not going to like pretend that didn't happen, but yeah, I don't know, man. He's awesome. He's actually, I think, down on my list from where he was last year, but relievers are, man, just weird.
Volatile.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be straight up. I left Duran off my list. I actually have his teammate Griffin Jacks at number 4. Nice. Griffin Jacks, who did get 10 saves last year, by the way, so he did get some reps as a closer. I know that Duran began last year on the IL, but Griffin Jacks, what can I say about his season last year? He was just phenomenal, really. I mean, he 71 innings, a 2.03 ERA, 2.37 expected ERA, and 1.94 FIP, and 2.32 expected FIP. He was one of the best. I think he was maybe the best setup man in baseball last year. 12.04 strikeouts per 9 against only 1.9 walks per 9. Those are really, really good numbers. 34.4% strikeout rate, 5.4% walk rate. I think we saw him start to excel later in the season as a setup man in 2023. Now having him full time as a reliever, as a setup man for Duran, he could even get some reps as the closer. He's nasty. His sweeper is filthy. His fastball, he throws the ball really hard. He has a really good changeup. He has multiple pitches where his whiff rate is above 40%. Actually, that's right. 45.3 on his sweeper, 47.6 on his changeup. Even his fastball gets decent whiff numbers. Overall, he's got a great arsenal. He throws the ball hard with wicked breaking stuff, and I think Jax is in for another big season, and I wouldn't be too surprised if he becomes the closer at some point. So I have Jax at number 4. I'm going to roll it at number 3. I have Devin Williams at number 3. Those postseason numbers aside, Devin Williams is a fantastic pitcher. Okay, I understand he missed most of last year with the back problem, but when he's on the field, he is one of the best pitchers in baseball, one of the best relievers in baseball. I mean, we saw it again last year. I mean, it's the 6th straight season where he was one of the best relievers in baseball, 1.25 ERA. I mean, just over 15.7 strikeouts per 9. Yes, the walks are going to be high basically every single year. I mean, 12.5% walk rate, but for the most part, he keeps the ball in the yard, except for Pete Alonso. And a 43% strikeout rate. That's really good. Really, really good. This is a guy you can expect to strike out around 40% of the batters he faces every year. And you give him the ball in the 9th inning, you should expect to get those last 3 outs. I understand, like I said, he had the blow-up outing, okay? He's had blow-up outings in the postseason whenever he's pitched in the postseason. But in the regular season, you're looking at one of the best relievers in baseball. So I think he's going to have a dominant year in New York. This is a walk year for him. So he's playing for some money, but I have Williams at number 3.
Honestly, completely understandable. I'm gonna make you all mad. I don't have Williams on my list. I don't. I understand he is amazing. Again, relievers are such a weird beast to work with.
Are you, Alex? I just asked if there's no Devin Williams, will you at least do the Lord's work for your number 3?
I have Edwin Diaz as my number 3.
Oh,
That was not what I meant.
I don't care. Splash, I don't care. I think that when you take a look at Edwin Diaz, he is still honestly one of the best closers in the game. When you talk about aura, he has all of it.
Yeah, okay, he does, yes.
He has all of the aura, and honestly, as a closer, it's weird. It's almost like WWE in that way. Aura means about 75% of it at this point of being a closer. And guess what? Edwin Diaz is the king of that. He still has elite stuff. That fastball slider combo he has is downright nasty. I don't care what you say on that point. He is like right alongside Emmanuel Clase here. He is one of like the most reliable closers in the business here overall.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to say this right now. I had to leave Diaz off my list. And I say this as a Mets fan. I think Edwin Diaz is still a great pitcher. His numbers are really hurt by the one bad month he had. He was terrible in the month of May. Okay. But from that point forward, he had a 2.5 ERA. He even lost his closer's role at one point. That's the crazy thing. And then he went on the IL. After he came back from the IL and he had the weird sticky stuff suspension, he was objectively a good pitcher last year. Just his overall numbers. I mean, I don't need him to be what he was in 2022. But I need him to be like a fraction of that. Like, I don't know, 50% of that. And he gets back into my top 5. I had to leave him off. He was also great in the postseason. Don't let the one bad outing against the Phillies fool you. He was actually really good. That was the only outing he allowed any runs in. But yes, I made the tough decision to leave Edwin Diaz off my list. Have a bounce back season, and we're talking about him back in my top 5.
Well, I guess it's time.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
The number 3 reliever in baseball, the best reliever in the National League, is Raisel Iglesias. There was a stretch last season. He faced 33 batters. Here's how many of them got on base. 0. Yeah. The next outing, he faced 6 more, allowed a hit by pitch, and then retired him on a ground out. Heading into the ill-fated Dodgers game in the middle of September, he had a 1.16 ERA. One blow-up outing in your entire season. I'll take my chances.
Reliever numbers are very unforgiving. Okay.
Yes. Among among pitchers that faced at least 100 batters last season, Iglesias was 6th in expected WOBA at 233, better than Griffin Jacks, better than Matt Strom, who was an all-star last year, better than Emmanuel Clase. His WOBA allowed 200, 4th best in baseball, and the guys ahead of him are Emmanuel Clase, Kirby Yates, and Danny Coulomb, who barely qualified with 107 batters faced. Iglesias is like what I want in a starter, like strikeout guys, don't walk anyone. Iglesias like doesn't walk people. He walks 1 out of every 20 batters he faces. He strikes out 1 in 4. It's not like elite strikeout stuff. Like Diaz, I will admit, strikes out 40% of the guys he faces. There's value in that. There's also value in just not walking 10% of the guys. Diaz has the huge strikeout rate, 39%, but he also walks 9%, worse than league average. I'll take my chances with the low walk rate and a big, the big mix, the big pitch mix that Iglesias has. He can attack righties, he can attack lefties. The changeup is a plus pitch. If we did reliever graphics, you can check those out on our Twitter. If we did reliever graphics, Iglesias to me would have a level 5 changeup, if not a level 6 changeup. If you look at the advanced numbers, doesn't allow many barrels, doesn't allow you to put it on the sweet spot of the bat. He's just a great reliever, and I think he was robbed of the Reliever of the Year award by Helsley. So my number 3 is Raisel Iglesias, and my number 2, I got another hat change for you all. It is Mr. Non-Taser himself. It's Emmanuel Clase.
Okay.
I get the playoffs. They happened. I don't really care. It's a small sample size. The rest of Clase's season was unbelievable. There's a reason he was a Cy Young finalist. That doesn't happen as a reliever. I would argue it shouldn't happen as a reliever anyways. A 0.61 ERA, bananas. 4.4 WAR in 74 innings pitched. Bananas. So you could have doubled his production. He still would not have qualified for the ERA title, but he would have had 8.8 baseball reference WAR. Phenomenal stuff. He's led the AL in saves the last 3 seasons. So he's a guy that if he stays as the closer and they don't try any monkey business moving him to be a starter, he could be a guy that has 400 saves in his career. The Kimbrel type and the Jansen type and the who's the other one? Kimbrel, Jansen, and there's one like active closer, right? There's another active closer.
Chapman has like 300 something, I think.
Okay, so Chapman, right? Yeah, he could. Clase could be in that class with 300 saves, 400 saves, 500 saves. I don't know. He's only 27 or turns 27 next week, actually. But a reliever finishing 3rd in Cy Young, that's crazy. A 6.74 ERA plus, that's crazy. A 2.22 FIP, that's crazy. A WHIP 0.6. What's going on here? Like Iglesias, he doesn't walk anyone. A 1.2 walk rate last year, a 3.7%. That's like George Kirby levels, and we know how much Alex loves George Kirby. So Clase is my number 2.
I mean, he's just great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Kirby's great.
Yes. And also, Clase this year became Cleveland's all-time saves leader.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's about to turn 27. He's 158 saves right now, and I'm sure we can revisit this at some point down the line. But my number 2 is Mason Miller. Mason Miller, really, really good year. Hardest thrower in baseball. He averages 101 miles per hour on his fastball. 2.49 regular ERA, 1.77 expected ERA, 2.18 FIP, 2.21 expected FIP. He did have that weird self-inflicted IL stint. I don't know what to make of that really, but in general, Mason Miller gets the job done. I think you can with the A's sort of on an upward trajectory. I think it's safe to expect him to have a bigger season. He had the highest strikeout rate of any qualified reliever, 41.8%, against an 8.4% walk rate, which is down from the year prior. And I think now that he knows that he's locked into the closer's role for the foreseeable future, you can expect him to be a top 5, maybe top 2 reliever, maybe even the best reliever in baseball going forward. He's really, really, really fun to watch. It's basically a two-pitch mix with him, just straight 4-seam fastball and a slider. And those pitches are both really good. Yes, he did throw a couple of changeups, all to left-handed hitters, by the way. But it was 63% fastball, which had a plus 11 run value, 37.2% whiff rate on a fastball, not very common. 47.2% whiff rate on his slider, that's also elite. But yeah, overall, really, really fun watching Mason Miller pitch, and I can't wait to watch him again this year. So he's my number 2.
Mm-hmm. All right. So for my number 2, I require a hat change as well, Splash. I got Mason Miller as my number 2. Mason Miller, watching him play baseball is so much fun. I remember I was in a bar over in Colorado during the All-Star game, and watching Mason Miller throw a pitch at 104 miles an hour, I was just like, oh my. I mean, being in Oakland, right, last season, here I saw him play a decent bit against Seattle, and oh boy, like, here's the thing, right? With Miller, he came out of nowhere to be this dominant. Here, when you have guys again like Clase, like Williams, here, like Diaz, you knew that they were going to be here. And then Miller came in and changed the game. He was outstanding to the point where everyone thought that the A's were going to trade him because, he came out of nowhere, has amazing upside. Here, yeah, let's get rid of him now. No, they're building around him for the move to Vegas. Here, although they will be the Sacramento A's not the Sacramento A's, just the A's for the next few years in Sacramento. But no, watching how he pitches, he is very much like a Rick Vaughn, like from Major League. I am going to blow this fastball by you, and I do not care what you think. I'm going to beat you this way. Making sure, by the way, from Major League 1, not Major League 2. But no, Mason Miller is my number 2.
All right.
Well, I'm going to I would like to complete the trifecta because Mason Miller is the best reliever in baseball.
I considered it. I heavily considered it.
Yeah. This is actually on brand. Like, I didn't have Diaz as my number 1. I had Clase over him, and now Clase has the crazy season. I'll just go with Mason Miller. Yeah, I'll go with the guy with a 1.77 expected ERA, a 150 expected batting average, throws 101, doesn't allow hard contact, gets all the chases, gets all the whiffs, strikes out guys at a 42% rate, doesn't have like bad walk rate or bad ground ball rate. Like, they're not great if they're just average. But I'll take my chances there. You move up the strikeout slider, I will grant you some leeway with the walks and the ground balls. Just, I said with Duran, how do you hit this guy? I don't know. Out of every 6 batters that came to the plate against Mason Miller last year, 5 of them did not get a hit. That is he hit a 160 batting average allowed. That is just outrageous. We were talking with starters earlier. They all had an OPS allowed in the 500s. I would imagine Logan Gilbert was as well because he had a really low whip too. Mason Miller's OPS allowed 4.95. Yeah, that'll play. Even last year it was a 6.14, and he wasn't like great Mason Miller then. A 40% ground ball rate, like I said, I'll take my chances there. And even when the ball is hit in the air, the 27% fly ball rate, which is around league average, the 21% line drive rate, which is a little below league average, is at 86 miles an hour. Like, those are going to get caught. They have real outfielders as long as Estuary Ruiz is in AAA. Mason Miller is the best relief pitcher in baseball. If I needed an inning, Martians, you get the whole shtick again. Mason Miller's the guy I want to get those last 3 outs.
All right. I'm curious now because Alex has already put Clase on there and already put Mason Miller. And I'm just going to go, I'm going to say my number 1 then right now. I have Manuel
Clay Holmes?
Yeah, it's Clay Holmes.
Yes.
He's a starter now. But
yes.
It's actually Duaner Sanchez.
Nice.
But no, Emmanuel Clase, I just, I understand he doesn't strike as many guys out as you would think with, a guy who throws a triple digits cutter. But I mean, does it really matter if you have a 0.61 ERA? 47 saves his 3rd straight year with at least 40. Like I said earlier, saves I know are not held in a super high regard anymore, but I mean, I still value them some. All right, 158 career saves. Like I said earlier, he's 6.6 strikeout to walk ratio. He barely allows any homers. Until postseason, but his strikeout rate actually went up last year. His walk rate went down, which is really encouraging. 2.22 FIP. Yeah, sure. Maybe he won't have a sub-1 ERA again, but I mean, 2.47 expected ERA, 2.81 xFIP. He's still going to be a great reliever, I think. So, I mean, I think Clase, I understand he doesn't strike out guys the way you might expect. I mean, neither did Mariano Rivera, and he is considered, I think he's everyone's greatest closer of all time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have Clase at number 1. Now, so I have Miller at number 2. I have Clase at number 1. Splash has Miller at number 1 and Clase at number 2. Alex, you have Clase at number 4 and Miller at number 2. Who is your number 1?
Oh boy, you guys ready for the hot take of the century?
Oh God.
Is it?
Sure.
Oh God. Another hat change.
I have a feeling I know who it is.
Andres
Luis
Munoz.
Torrens. Yes, Luis
Oh,
Torrens.
man.
He's back.
Listen, and I need you guys to hear me out on this one, please.
Okay.
I have reasoning for this. This is not just homerism. Yes, there is a bit of it in there, I will admit. But please hear me out. Andres Munoz, for the last couple of years, has been an extremely consistent closer. One that has had a couple bad outings here and there. I understand that. He had a down tilt last year. What did he do when he had that down tilt? He added in a new pitch. He added in that two-seamer sinker. You want to know what happened immediately after he did that? He was unhittable for the second half of the season. Now, he's done something in the offseason that is going to, that's right now has already made major waves on social media and during spring training. 2 words with a hyphen: kick changeup. He has developed a kick changeup that when he first threw it on his first bullpen of spring training, everyone's jaw dropped. It has 10 inches of vertical drop at 92 miles an hour. Let me say that again. A changeup with 10 inches of drop and at 92 miles an hour. You put that changeup along with a fastball at 100, a slider that has about as much movement as me at the club, and a sinker that could get ground balls like nobody's business. What do you want? I'm going to make the bold claim right now that Andres Munoz will be the reliever of the year. I know that Emmanuel Clase exists. I know that Mason Miller exists. I know that Devin Williams exists. Andres Munoz will be the number 1 closer this year. End of story. Drop the hat, drop the mic. Watching what he has added to the arsenal, you pair that changeup with the fastball with as much movement as he has on, as much run as he has on it. Just the fastball changeup alone is going to be strong. Now you add in the slider and a sinker to it. I don't care. This dude is going to be the best.
I'll say this much. I really wanted to put Munoz in my top 5. I just couldn't find a place for him, really.
Yeah, I did. It's called the number 1 place.
Yeah, okay, sure. But I think he's going to have a big season. That changeup, I'm really, really curious to see what it does in the regular season because it looks nasty, really. I'll say this: he's one of my favorite pitchers to watch. He kind of like falls off the mound like he's Wild Thing. So he's got sort of a lower release point, maybe, but yeah, his pitches do move like crazy, and I think he is going to have a big year. I think the Mariners are going to get back to the playoffs. He's going to be a big piece of it. So.
I saw you muttering something on your breath there, Splash. You got something to say?
Yeah. So, welcome back. You can hopefully hear me now. Andres Munoz was in my top 5, if not last year, the year before. So I see the vision. Which is fine. And I think this is the value in talking relievers is that they all skin the mule deer a little bit differently, right? And Munoz has the plus stuff and the new kick change, which, by the way, Clay Holmes is going to be an all-star this season. Just throwing that out there. just throwing that out there. Yeah, I can appreciate the difference in our lists. Oh my goodness. We had I have Duran. Neither of you had Duran. I had Duran and Iglesias. Neither of you had either of them. Mac has Griffin Jacks. You have Anthony Munoz there, Alex. So
Anthony Munoz?
Yes, Andres Munoz. Anthony Munoz,
Andres.
left tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals. That's okay. You have Edwin Diaz as well. So I like the variety here, and we'd had some agreement in previous lists. Like we'd have 5 of the 6 same guys, or we'd have the same top 4s, maybe in a different order. But then we'd have we have Brenton Doyle's in, or PCA's in, or Parker Meadows is in. But I like we have 10 different guys here, so I appreciate that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Same with our starting pitcher that same way too. Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel relievers are always tough to rank, like I said earlier. And so I'm not surprised we have a lot of variety in there. Agreed. They change so much from year to year. I mean, none of us had Josh Hader. Hader's routinely been pretty reliable reliever, but he had a down year last year. He gets bumped off the list. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these lists change throughout the year. But anyways, let us know what you think at LAR_baseball. But we are going to throw it to Splash now for everyone's favorite segment of every week, and that is some trivia. So Splash, take it away.
Hello, friends. One nice thing right now is that Mike Trout is healthy. We all love Mike Trout unless he's playing the Mariners. I'm sure Alex has a portion of him that loves Mike Trout, even when he does play the Mariners.
100%.
It's majestic to watch.
I've watched him hit a number of home runs live against Seattle.
Yes, good old Trout Mobile Park. Anyways, Mike Trout came up in April of 2012 and stayed up. He had 40 games in 2011. We're not counting that. But the last 13 years, only a handful of Angels have climbed the mountain and had a better season than Mike Trout. Your task today is to name the Angels who had more Baseball Reference WAR in a season than Mike Trout since 2012. No ties. You got to be better than Mike Trout. There was 1 year.
Since 2012.
Yes, since 2012.
Every season. So that includes the ones where he got hurt.
Yes.
All right.
So
are we working together or are we competing?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Teamwork makes the dream work.
First
how many
name
are
that comes
there?
to mind obviously is Ohtani.
There are 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 16 players. Shohei Ohtani is correct. He is the only player to do it twice.
Okay.
Which is kind of sad when you think about how many players the Angels have had and how many injuries Mike Trout has had, that the only player to be better than him twice is Shohei Ohtani, but I digress. Yeah. Shohei Ohtani is correct. 2021, 22, and 23.
Okay, I know this guy had a monster season for WAR at least once. Andrelton Simmons.
Andrelton Simmons, the only player to do it until 2020. He did it in 2017.
Okay.
All right.
I'll give another name here. I'm not sure how correct this is. I'm just going with the big signings that happened with them. One is Pujols.
No dice on Albert Pujols.
Yeah.
He gets hurt by playing first base also.
And he overlaps
I thought you were making a joke that he just gets hurt because he's playing at all. But
yeah, that too.
All right.
I think this guy may have had a higher WAR in 2020 because he had an MLB The Show finest card. David Fletcher.
David Fletcher is correct.
Oh,
yeah, I was just thinking about that MLB The Show
knuckleballing legend. So you have 1 from 2020, 3 from 21, and a bunch from 24.
Okay. A bunch from 2024, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Last year, Trout only had 1.1 Baseball Reference WAR.
Oh, I think I understand the game a little bit more.
Yeah, he actually had some real teammates last year.
He did have some teammates.
In 2021, I guess he had some real teammates in 2021, but there were only 3 that had more than his 1.8 WAR.
All right. Then I'm going to go along the same line then and go Zach Neto.
5-win player last year, baby. Zach Neto.
Zach Neto. Okay, I'm going to take a gamble here because I know he made the All-Star game. Jared Walsh.
Jared Walsh is correct. Rangers legend.
Let's go.
Here's another one. This is very much a shot in the dark one. Luis Rengifo.
Luis Rengifo is correct. He had 300 last year, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep. All
He
right.
always seems to just do insanely well against Seattle, and it makes me sad. He's the new Jed Lowry.
Based.
I'm really good with him in MLB The Show.
I mean, yeah, he has a good swing.
Yeah.
You have 3 more from pre-2024, and you have 7 more from 24.
Okay, maybe this guy did it last year, like in 2023. Brandon Drury.
Brandon Drury did not. He had
What?
-2 WAR last year.
Wow.
Not in 2023.
Well, 2023 tried at 2.9, and he was second on the team behind
right,
Otani. Drury was 6th.
Okay. Let's see here.
Also, shout out to Matt Moore's picture on Baseball Reference. Looks like mega professionally done. It looks like you'd have in a yearbook. Just
all right.
very majestic.
Nice.
I like it. Shout out.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep it to 2024 for at least a little bit longer here, because I feel like that works. I don't remember if he played as much. Logan O'Hoppe?
Logan O'Hoppe is
That's
correct.
my next guess.
Bronx legend.
Okay. I'm trying to think of who else even played this year. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know the Angels went through a rough one this year. Maybe because I think this guy played enough. Taylor Ward.
Taylor Ward is correct.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Ward was the
Not
next guy I was
Tyler
thinking
Ward.
of.
No.
Or not Tyler Wade either.
Definitely not Tyler Wade.
Or Tyler McGill.
Spelled with an O.
With an O.
Yes, obviously.
Hey, Taylor's spelled with an O, usually.
I think.
I guess, yeah.
Taylor
Scott
Scott
spelled with an E. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any pitchers that work on this list. And honestly, the one I'm gonna wait, did he? Okay, I'm gonna say this one here. Raisel Iglesias?
Yes. That is correct.
Okay.
I pandered to you there, bud.
Yes.
I for some reason thought this was only position players.
No, pitchers are included.
I'm
Well,
gonna
and the
go-
problem is usually it should be only position players because it's the Angels.
I'm gonna
there
go
are
with
5 more pitchers, 3 more position players.
Tyler Anderson.
That was exactly
Tyler
what I was about to say.
Anderson. Yes, that is
That's
correct.
exactly what I was about to say next. Chris.
All right.
Um.
So 2 more position players and 4 more pitchers.
Okay. Let's see here. Try to think of who are other pitchers that have just done well with the team and there's not a lot.
I'll give a hint.
Please.
He was my Cy Young pick one year.
Yeah, it gives.
Yeah, that gives so much help.
No, I know.
Oh, you
who
want to
it
go
is.
for it? We're working together. on
Yeah,
this.
Patrick Sandoval.
That is correct.
Oh my gosh.
Now he's on the Red Sox.
Yeah, and he's recovering from Tommy John.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm running out of names real quick here. Yep.
We have 1 player from before 2024.
I think
He
I
is
have.
still employed by the Angels.
I think I know who it is. Oh,
Okay.
Say it.
well, actually, I had 2 names pop into my head, but I'm going to say the first one.
Mhm.
Anthony Rendon.
Anthony Rendon.
2020.
Mr. Steal Your Money is correct. All right, and you have 4 players left, all from 2024.
They're all from 2024.
2024.
Okay.
Yes, 3 pitchers, 1 position player.
3 pitchers.
Three
All right.
pitchers. Frickin', I just lost his name. He went up and down with the minor leagues. I know exactly who it is. He had a Future Stars card in LB The Show 24.
That doesn't help me.
No. Reed Detmers.
That is not Reed Detmers.
Yeah,
Dang it.
Detmers had an awful year.
He
I was
did
trying to
throw a
remember
no-hitter
if he at
once.
least did enough.
He did throw a no-hitter once.
That's why I was saying that not for Splash. I say that for Mac's sake.
A starter, 2 relievers, and an infielder.
I was going to ask if they were starters or relievers.
Yes, 1 starter, 2 relievers.
And you said he had 1.1 this year, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think one of them is one of them Hunter Strickland by any chance?
That is not. He is the first person behind Trout this year.
I knew you'd be
Unfortunately,
close.
Bryce Harper's son does not make the list.
I'm really running out of names here. I'm trying to think of another infielder that at least played a decent chunk for the team at this point.
Who? I'm trying to give you a hint without making it too obvious.
I understand that, but
who?
An owl?
Yes, an owl.
Yes, an owl with a 1.3 baseball WAR.
Yes, actually, he had maybe more than that.
No, I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, 1.3 baseball reference for last year. Yes.
I'm trying to think what does an owl have to do with it?
Maybe his collegiate team.
He played for Villanova.
Oh,
I know the answer. I know the answer.
Yes.
Nolan Shotwell.
Yes. Florida Atlantic
FAU.
Owls. Yes.
The Owls.
Okay. He's the last position player. You got 3 more pitchers.
Okay.
One of them throws 100, which is notable.
Another
one throws 170 million miles an hour, which is notable. And the other got traded.
Okay. Ben Joyce is one of them.
Ben Joyce,
yes, that is correct.
I
He's the one that throws 100 million miles an hour. Yes.
One of them got traded.
Yes.
Is that the starter or the reliever?
The reliever.
The reliever got traded. Okay, I know the answer. It's Charlie Sheen, Carlos Estevez.
Yes. Also known as Francisco Lindor's son.
Yes, Francisco Lindor's
son. All right, Mac, I appreciate that reference. That was funny.
All right, and last one. He throws 100, which is notable because he's a starter.
He's a starter. And he plays for the Angels.
Starter.
Does he still play for the Angels?
As far as I'm aware, yes. He's only 26.
I mean,
made 20 starts last year.
Made 20 starts last year. And
hey, 122 ERA plus.
I know the answer.
Okay.
Jose Soriano.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Nice.
Great job, everybody. That's all.
Ground ball machine.
We both did good on that. You clutched it out at the end there, though, Matt.
You'd think a guy that averages 98 would strike out more than 20% of the batters he faces.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I saw him pitch as a reliever for the Angels in 23, and I thought he was just going to stick there. But he's not a bad starter. He's a big ground ball guy.
Yeah, he was really good last year. 97th percentile ground ball rate and 97th percentile fastball velo.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think he's going to be good. But anyways, thank you for that splash. That was
that was a good.
It was a real good brain teaser there.
We are manifesting a healthy Mike Trout season.
Yes, please.
And given that Zach Neto is not healthy right now, I think I can speak for all of us and say, hopefully, Mike Trout leads the Angels in WAR this season.
Yeah. Please stay healthy. But
lead the Angels in WAR and let the Mariners still make the playoffs.
Well, okay, yes. That's implied. But anyways,
win the division and go all the way to the World Series against the Milwaukee Brewers.
Sorry, that's not happening. Anyways, we've reached the last segment of every episode, which is the moment to ourselves, 60 seconds or so to talk about whatever is on your mind. It doesn't have to be baseball or even sports related. So who here wants to go first? Alex. All right. I'll count you down.
That sounds good.
Let me pull up my stopwatch. Your time starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm going to talk wrestling. So if you want to skip, just go ahead for it. Here, I'm also going to do some spoilers from Elimination Chamber a couple weeks ago. Here, so I'm going to begin the rant in 3, 2, 1. John Cena turning heel is still one of the most interesting things that I have ever seen. Like, we're talking about a guy that has been a face for 22 years. It's like over 2 decades. This man has been a good guy, and then at the end sold his soul to The Rock here, and it's going to culminate in a WrestleMania match between him and Cody Rhodes. Ergo, what my name is here, doing the what do you want to talk about here? I'm in love with this idea. Like, it shocked me, but I'm in love with it. They've been talking that this is the last year of Cena, so people are like, oh yeah, he's going to be a good guy the whole time, yada yada, retire as a good guy. And then they turn him heel with The Rock? That shocked me in my core, and I absolutely love it. here. Like, we're now getting another big story here with Cody Rhodes and John Cena. With everything that was going up, it looked like it was for certain that Cody was gonna turn heel against, and Cena was gonna be the good guy that takes the championship off of him. He's gonna win the record-breaking title as a bad guy. I love that. That is so much more interesting for the character. I also still personally think that at the end of this year, here, although they said that this is the last time, that he's going to show up again at the Royal Rumble in next January, and just to make everyone mad and to be like, yeah, we did full false advertising with this. I understand. Screw off. No, again, if you're a wrestling fan, you already know. If you're not a wrestling fan, please give it a chance right now. The storytelling right now is truly insane. Also, if you've ever watched a movie with John Cena, now you're going to see him as a bad guy.
I've seen him on Saturday Night Live.
Yep.
I can't say I've seen him in more than like 2 movies.
Yep.
Blockers was interesting.
True. Right. Blockers with a chicken in front of it.
Yes. Good airplane movie. I can't speak to if it's actually a good movie, but a pretty solid airplane movie, like a train wreck. I watched The Bucket List coming back home, or coming back from being home. I tried to watch Conclave on the way down. I fell asleep, so sorry. The Best Picture Award nominee, Conclave, but I can go.
Yeah,
right.
Go ahead. Your time starts in 3, 2, 1. Begin.
Hi. I was home last week. It was nice being home on my own accord. Hung out with some friends, which was exciting. It rained on my birthday, which is mildly annoying. Also, a 23-hour birthday. If you ever want to feel discriminated against, try having a 23-hour birthday that it rains. So that was fun. I played Hitman. I don't remember if I mentioned it here, but I wanted to play Hitman with my cousin. He came over. I'm like explaining all the, like, you go to Miami and blow up a race car. You can do all these fun things. Well, I open it up and my Xbox is like, Hitman? Never heard of her. You haven't bought this game. Yes, I did. But I re-bought the game. I don't know if it was like on sale originally and it didn't like count. I don't know. But I bought the full game. A lot of fun. So it was nice to be home. Nice to see my friends. So that's it for me.
Yeah, it didn't even occur to me that your birthday was on the same day as daylight savings. Like, that is, man, that's kind of rough.
Unfortunate.
Sorry, man.
Yeah. But yes, you're what, 24 now?
Yes,
so
sir.
We're the same age.
My Jared.
I'm the
here?
old one. I am the one apparently going senile.
So Splash and I are the same age for about a little over a month.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely not going to mention my age. Nope.
Yeah,
I'm in my Michael Bourne era.
Michael Bourne, yeah.
Yes.
I'm in
Robinson
my
Cano
retiring Felix Hernandez era.
If Robinson Cano is a Brave.
Did Cano wear 24 with the Braves? I know he wore 24 with the Mets.
I know he wore 24 with the Mets and the Yankees, 22 with the Mariners.
Yeah,
It was definitely 22 and 24 with the Yankees.
Yeah, because he changed it because Rocket came out of retirement.
Okay.
Oh,
It was 22 as a Brave, but 24 as a Padre and a Met. But yeah, Kelnick wears it right now, and I believe, and Michael Bourne, favorite player from my childhood to wear 24.
Yeah, Michael Bourne was the speed demon. So
he had like 3 years in a row. He was like 4 or 5 WAR.
Yeah, no, he was really fast. I remember.
Yeah, 5
I remember when he
09,
came up with the Phillies.
5.5 in 10, and then 6 in 2012.
Yeah. All right, I'll get going in that case. Can someone count me down?
All right, your time begins in 3, 2, 1, begin.
So I'll just start by saying it's March. So March Madness. I'm excited for it, even though Syracuse probably won't be in the tournament. They did win their ACC tournament game last night, so that's exciting. What's not so exciting is we've reached the era of roster cuts, and some athletic departments slashing their budget and slashing programs. This is not a good situation. I'm just going to be straight up. I'll say this much: I think athletes deserve to get paid. I'm not going to deny that, because a lot of times these arenas and these, stadiums, they sell out, get so many fans in the stands to watch these athletes perform. And, they would make no money from what they were doing. They're literally just being, they were entertaining and then not getting compensated for it. So I think it is fine. NIL deal, I think, can work, but it just sucks knowing that there are people out there who are either about to enter college or have been playing their sport or competing in their sport their entire lives, and all of a sudden aren't going to have that opportunity anymore. So I just think this needs to get fixed. I know Cal Poly just cut their swim team. That's a D1 program. I know other programs are just cutting like half their rosters, it feels. And you have to count for the incoming freshmen too. So it's not a great situation. I do believe this can get fixed. And I think there is a way to sort of bargain here. Keep, the athlete pay thing going while also not having to, slash your rosters and slash your budget entirely. So hopefully this gets fixed because, as a former student athlete myself, I want the best for everyone.
Yeah, but we're not going to get into the full debate on all that, but I'm with you. That's right now, if you're a student athlete, your body is your most prized possession, and it can be taken away in the most tragic of ways. So having some level of insurance is, at this point in our day, it should be necessary.
Yeah. So, like I said, I hope this gets fixed at some point, but anyways, if you stuck with us for this extra long episode, I understand we were trying to speed things up at the same time when we did do two different rankings. So if you stuck with us for this extra long episode, make sure, first of all, thank you. And also make sure to hit subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you are listening. Maybe you don't like what we said. Well, thank you for giving us more views. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at LAR_baseball. Follow us individually on Twitter. Follow Splash at Mr. Splashman19. Follow Alex at the Sports Guy 242. Follow me at Mathias_A_K. Tell us, who are your top 5 starters? Who are your top 5 relievers? Maybe you have someone on there who we all left off. But anyways,
are you just a really, really big believer that Griffin Jax is the only closer in baseball?
Exactly. Maybe you don't believe in closers at all.
I mean, to be fair, we could have done the opener joke, but we didn't. So that would have been funny.
Maybe you want to tell us your top 5 openers. Why don't you do that? But anyways, thank you all for tuning in from all of us here at LAR. Stay safe and hope to see you all real soon.